Hey guys, how's it going? I hope everyone is doing good when you see this, whenever you see it. So we're going to continue on with the Sagittarius July readings, bones and charms general readings. So everybody is welcome, regardless of where you may have Scorpio or Sagittarius in your chart, in your individual birth chart. So yeah, I just want to make sure that our sound is good before we get too far into the reading. Okay, so sound is good. And then also I want to make sure that we're going live on Facebook and all that good stuff. Stay. I don't know why my phone's acting a little bit funny. Okay, so Diva. I don't know if you guys can hear my one cat. She's just talking and I'm like, it's okay, Diva. You wanna come say hi? Diva. Okay. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm just changing the title on Facebook. It won't let me change it to let everybody see it right now. I guess that's the new thing Facebook's doing. So after the live is done, I can make it public. Right now it just only lets me do friends for some reason. But I've been getting like a lot of technical difficulties even with my TikTok in the last day or so. So I don't know if I'm just getting Mercury retrograde like 3 weeks early, but good times. All divine timing, even with the technical difficulties. All right, so with that being said, let's go ahead and do a sound bell here and get started for Scorpio and see what types of messages Spirit has for Scorpio for July. And we'll continue on and do a little sound bell here just to kind of ground ourselves, clear the energy around us, within us, from any previous readings, all that good stuff. So if you're sensitive to sound, you can feel free to turn it down for a little bit just while we do the sound bell. But yeah, it won't be for forever, of course. All right, so this is going to be for Scorpio for July 2025. So let me just go ahead and put this off to the side. We'll go this way. So it'll stay like that. All right, and now we're going to shuffle the bones and charms. So when I do that, that also makes a little bit of noise, but again, it's not going to be for the whole time we're here. So I just always ask everybody to know that and stay patient with me through the process. All right. So spirits, please guide my hands. Messages for water sign Scorpio. Spirits, guide my hands to messages for water sign Scorpio, the Scorpion for July. Messages for Scorpio for July 2025 for their highest good. Messages for water sign Scorpio, the Scorpion for July for their highest good. Spirit, guide my hands, please. Spirit, guide my hands. Spirit, guide my hands, please. Messages for the Scorpio for July 2025 for the highest good. Spirit, guide my hands, please. Messages for Scorpio, the Scorpion for July. Messages for Scorpio for July for their highest good. Messages for Scorpio for July for their highest good. Spirit, guide my hands, please. Messages for Scorpio for their highest good for July. Alrighty. I'm gonna kind of just put that up over there. Bill Stye. Okay. So we're gonna pick up some of the bones and charms that went on the outside part, on the white part of the mat, and just bring them in a little bit. They're still gonna be in these 4 different sections that I'll go over. It doesn't change their meaning. It just makes it easier for us to see. Okay. And you'll see it in just a moment when I bring the camera down and really up close, okay? I just keep it here in the beginning to say hello, for you to be able to see me cast the bones and charms, right? And all that good stuff. And then I'm just flipping over them, the other ones that I can, that aren't too like on top of each other. So they'll kind of already be ready when we bring the camera closer, okay? And after I do that for a moment, we're also going to find out where Spirit wants to start this reading, since every reading is different. So I do that just by kind of like hovering my hands over, and they get really hot sometimes, and just draw me to where Spirit, when I say they, I'm saying Spirit or spirits, right? Ancestors, angels, whatever you want to call it, they will guide me and tell me where to go. I'll wait to do that one. All right, so I also always take a picture at the end, and then I upload it on my Facebook if people want to look at it again later and all that good stuff. So anyway, let me just go ahead and tap in and see where they want to start this reading. Spirits, where do you want to start this Scorpio July reading, please? Spirits, guide my hands. Spirits, guide my hands. Where would you like me to start the Scorpio July reading? Okay, so I'm just going to kind of put my pen roughly where it is. Don't move too much. All right. So Scorpio, it looks like they want to start in the body and mental health section, so we'll do that. And then to go over the little sections real quickly, we also have the spiritual unconscious, also known as your intuition. We have work and money, of course, and then we have relationships and love, all types of relationships. So yeah, we're going to start in the body and mental health. So I forgot to mention too, like for the new people or people who haven't been here in a while, is that this reading could be about you. It could be about someone else that you're dealing with, multiple people, general environment situation. So always take it how it may resonate for you, but never force a reading if it doesn't feel right. Always check out your other placements, for instance, and your individual birth charts, and you can get a lot of them online for free. Is check out your sun, moon, rising, or ascendant, and also your Venus, right? Or Jupiter, Saturn. It depends on what you're coming to the reading for. So anyway, with that being said, let me go ahead and just grab the camera and bring it down closer for you guys so you can see kind of what's going on. All right. So if I just kind of show you roughly um, all the different sections for a moment, it looks like the majority of your bones and charms this month, Scorpio, are kind of falling in the work and money and this subconscious and your intuition or your spirituality. Okay, doesn't mean that there aren't other things happening in these other sections. Okay, but it could just be that spirit wants you to focus more on these areas, or that's the way it's going to possibly play out. There is quite a lot of things happening in the past as well that we'll talk about, but the first place, like I said before, and my pen just kind of rolled over, that they want to start at is right here. Very interestingly, Scorpio, excuse me, in the body and mental health section, all right, is we have, okay, the first raccoon penis bone is laying on top of this turkey wishbone, and then we have a piece, or the bigger piece of the fish vertebrae, the backbone here. Okay, and it is starting in the past, okay, and then coming into the present current energies. So what is the past? It could be a couple of days ago, weeks, months, years, etc., right? But generally, and I know for some people, if they're new, they're like, why is she talking about, penis bones and this and that? Well, we all have masculine and feminine inside of us. And so this, if we're talking about like higher vibrational masculine energy, as a stereotype, we could say this is being more proactive or assertive or aggressive, so to speak. Okay, and it's about someone's wish, okay, or if it's not about a person or you or someone else, it could also just be an energy wishing for something in terms of someone's body and mental health. It could be that the wish is for some kind of more support, or support in general if there hasn't been some in the past. Okay, we say that because this is the fish vertebrae. I'm just waiting for the camera. There we go to focus. And so anytime we talk about the backbone or the vertebrae, that is our support system. Okay, so when we're talking about body and mental health, it can be doctors, it can be trainers, it can be a mental health person or a counselor, but it can also be, in addition to that or separately, our regular support system. So our friends, our family, romantic partner, etc. So it looks like there's like a really big wish here, again, that started in the past, someone or some energy wanting to be more proactive with feeling this support for someone's body and mental health. Okay. Before we get into these other things in the past and right on the line here and then go forward, there's one thing I just want to kind of look at for a second here. If you've been here before, but whatever is in the center circle affects all the different areas, right? So we have the dog ankle bone right here in the center. So it's like flexibility is going to be really important this month, or whenever you see this Scorpio, or wherever you have Scorpio in your chart, right? So this could be on your side, on someone else's, or again, just the energy. But when we talk about bones from animals, and I even have some human tooth bones here as well, that's the only human ones I have, of course. But this is like, our bones support us, but they also have to move with us. So when we think of our feet, okay, in lots of different cultures, right, it's about either moving forwards, hopefully, or moving backwards. But just moving in general, we have to be flexible, of course, when we do that as well. So there's a big flexibility element showing up here, like throughout the month, or whenever you see this, Scorpio, because time is fluid and relative. So it may resonate beyond July, or even before July, right? But now that we said that, let's kind of jump back over here and see what else we have in the past showing up here. So this is one of the first bones that I moved because it was like all the way out here, just so we could see it better. And that's the alligator claw, right? And again, past energy. So alligator claw, just like the lucky rabbit's foot is for good luck, okay? But it's also a claw, okay, or like a little hand, right? So it's reaching and striving for something, okay? So it could be that in the past, okay, Someone could have been either a person, you yourself, or just an energy reaching and striving for possibly something to do with equal give and take, balance, justice, right? It could even be as simple as balance between the body and the mind, right? We know each thing affects the other and they're all connected. Now, of course, this also, Scorpio, could have something to do with a Libra. Someone that's got a lot of Libra in their chart, or even referencing Libra season in the past, since it's in the past here. But it doesn't have to be about the zodiac energies. It could just really be, again, about some kind of balance or equal give and take or reciprocity, that kind of thing, or justice, okay? Now, as we continue going up this way, and this is my listening seashell, so I just kind of want to flip it over if it'll stay. There we go. So here we got the rope charm, we got the listening seashell, then we have another good luck symbol, but this is the four-leaf clover. And then on top of that here, Scorpio, we do have the ship anchor, right? So it's like over time, someone could have been really listening for, or an energy if it's not a person, how to have more good luck in terms of someone's body and mental health, but also like where they feel safety or you feel safety, freedom and safety, right? So, you know, as an example, we drop our ship anchor when we need to stop the boat, and we lift it when we need to go. So if you apply that to like the body and mental health, it could just be like, well, where do I feel safe? Whether it's with certain, like a doctor or trainer or counselor, mental health care practitioner, etc. We'll just say health professionals, okay? But it could also just be like about you or yourself here, Scorpio, or someone else, like where you feel safe in your own body, in your own mind, if you're not necessarily working with the professionals, right? Or in addition to that, okay? Because then we have the honeybee here, one of the first honeybees that I have. I have 2 in my kit. So the honeybee represents like individuality and also community effort, right? So each honeybee, okay, is like working towards creating honey for themselves, but also the queen bee, right? So it's that individuality, individual power. What is your individual effort or someone else's in terms of their health? And what is the community effort, right? So if we go back to the beginning of the reading here, where someone is wishing, or the energy is wishing for more support, okay, with that fish vertebrae here on top of the raccoon penis bone, and then going towards the turkey wishbone, wishing for more support in general, okay, definitely, you know, makes sense. Now, the last thing I'll say here for this section, because you know, there's not a whole lot going on here, like there is, but there isn't, right? And that's usually a good thing, or it can be that, again, spirit wants you to focus more on these other areas, right? But whatever's on the lines, you know, also apply here. Okay, so there's nothing really on this side, right? But right here on the line, we also have the scissors, okay? And that is then going into a whole lot of other stuff that is also going to apply this way. All right, but the basic thing we'll start with is, you know, spirit may want you to cut away here, Scorpio, or someone else, or the energy, some kind of irresponsibility, okay? Because I'll just turn it over so you can see it. This is the irresponsibility coin, okay? So again, whether it's you or someone else or just the energy, we all can say at some point that we're being irresponsible with our body and mental health. Not like totally, let's say, right? But it's always good to kind of check in and be like, you know, could I eat better? Could I take care of my mental health better? Something like this, okay? Or for someone else, right? But there's a lot of like emotions around this irresponsibility energy, whatever that shows up to be, because we also have the water charm here, Scorpio. But then if we go this way, right, And I'll just move this for a second so you can see, right, that we have the skeleton hand here. So the skeleton hand is one of my symbols for pass on loved ones, friends, family, ancestors, spirit guides, guardian angels. We also have the coffin coin over there, which is the same thing. And I'll flip it over in a moment, right? Excuse me, let me just also put that back so I don't forget, because we have abundance here. So what is this saying, all right? Before we get into all the little details that are like touching everything, is that your spiritual team, okay, wants abundance for you. Maybe they want to help you with this irresponsibility energy. They want you to have abundance in your body or mental health or someone else, etc. They also may be saying that there's something about the feminine energy here that's also going to help with that. So remember how all the way out here you had that divine masculine energy, being proactive, assertive, aggressive with this, right? Now over here, if this is higher vibrational feminine energy, it would be open and receiving and more gentle, right? So your spiritual team is definitely, giving some messages here about the way to find more happiness in your health here, Scorpio. Could be like embracing something like non-traditional here with the hummingbird that's kind of upside down, and then the sun charm. So, or it could be, if it's not non-traditional, it's like embracing something that you're naturally good at that maybe other people don't understand right away in terms of your health, but you do. And the people that really matter will hopefully over time understand, okay? But this is going to bring happiness. So it's like you have feminine energy here, okay, but then you also have double masculine energy showing up here with this coyote penis bone, and then the masculine charm on top of that. They're like, one on each side, and then the feminine energy in the middle. Okay, so it's never just like one or the other, right? We all have both, regardless of our gender, how we identify, all the things. But, and let me just flip over the coffin here too, so we'll have that there. But on the other side of the coffin, right, we also have this coyote claw. So coyotes are pack animals. So it's something about working with a team or with your pack in terms of someone's health, because we're still in this section, because again, they cross the line and all go this way. So they also still apply in that first section, okay? And then here, Scorpio, I can see the question mark is kind of, there it is, right? And so if there's any doubts perhaps about something to either do with a Capricorn, okay, because I have seen my symbol for Capricorn there, or doubts about if it's not, an actual person who's a Capricorn, or where they have Capricorn in their chart, if they have a lot of it, or even Capricorn season coming up possibly, or last year. It kind of just depends, but it's generally, if you put all that zodiac stuff aside, it could really just be about where are we putting in the effort. So the goat, the Capricorn symbol, right, they always climb up the mountain. They're really good at traveling like difficult pathways, and they try to remain flexible, and they don't give up. So if they fall down and they're still alive, they're going to keep going up that mountain. So it also represents, if it's not about Capricorn, or in addition to that, putting in the effort and the resiliency and not giving up in terms of someone's health here, okay? And the masculine and feminine is so interesting, because now it's showing up again going the other way. I can see over here, like kind of in between the baby's legs, is the feminine charm. So it's like masculine all the way out here, right? And then feminine, and then masculine, and then masculine, and then feminine again. So it's something about even just balancing that, right? Within ourselves. It could be like as simple as that for someone's health. Now, I do also see here with the baby, Scorpio, this could represent like your children, if you have children in the 3D physical world, or someone else's children that are important in your life, or it could just be a childlike energy, okay, or youthful energy showing up here. But this youthful energy and this feminine energy could also be coming in here to saying something about boundaries, okay? So this is that, I'm gonna use the pen, it's easier. This is the bobcat tooth right here. Okay, so cats, domesticated cats, cats in general, right? But the ones we know usually are the domesticated ones. If they don't want you to pet them, they're going to let you know. Like, they're really good with their boundaries, right? So it could be like this feminine energy, this youthful, childlike energy is helping set boundaries here, for someone, for their own health or something, okay? And this could also be with, a health professional, because over here we have the crown, okay? Or this could be someone that just has more knowledge than you or someone else, or confidence, okay? It doesn't necessarily have to be a health professional, right? Or it's your own leadership qualities here, or someone else's, Scorpio, as well, that are really coming in and being proactive, about, like, what are my health goals. Okay, so here we have the symbol for Sagittarius, the bow and arrow. So it could have something to do with the Sagittarius, or during Sagittarius season, or where you have Sagittarius in your chart. But in addition to those things, or none of those things, it could just really be about the health goals, the body and mental health goals. Where do we pull back that arrow and hit the target? Now, this is really interesting too. Here you have two fire sign kind of energies together, Scorpio, and your water sign, right? Now we have Leo, the lion. I just flipped him over, her, whatever. Not a gender thing. And so it's like possibly this, they're saying something about a Leo, during Leo season, where you have Leo in your chart. But if it's not that, it could also just be like, well, where is the passion and the creativity, and the confidence to, like, redefine or reassess, or just rewrite the health goals, okay? Because it's like the arrow is pointing towards Leo the lion, okay? There's all this good luck though here under this. If I move all these other pieces over, okay, we also have the horseshoe and the ladybug here. Okay, so good luck as well. Oh, just kind of butchered that a little bit, but it's okay, I got it. I saw where they were, okay. Very good. Okay, so now you can kind of see that horseshoe and that ladybug, all right? And then we also had more feminine energy. I'm sorry, well, no, I meant to say masculine energy, okay? Because on top of that was another coyote penis bone, okay? So being proactive, assertive, aggressive with the health goals, and also the good luck, and again, working either with a coach or a health professional or something, or your own leadership qualities here. Now, this also all ties in, Scorpio, to something to do with family here with the seahorse. So I'm going to just flip it over. Okay, so this could be blood family, it could be relatives, it could be parents, and or it could also be whoever you consider your tribe or your people, but it's like heavy on someone's mind, okay, like during this whole reading. So if I flip this over, this is our first skull here, okay, and I have two in the kit. So it's kind of half in the present, current possibilities, and a lot in the past, okay, on the white part of the mat. But where we see a skull in the reading can tell us like where someone's mind is at, where it will be, that kind of thing. So we've got one all the way over here in relationships and love that we'll talk about later, but the first one here is well, technically it's in the spiritual unconscious, but these things are all connecting, so it's also crossing into body and mental health, right? So definitely a lot of stuff on your mind here, Scorpio, or someone else's, or just the energy. Now this thing going on with the family, or the family tribe, or people we consider family, there could also be something here about like just as simple as exercising or traveling with the family for someone's health, okay? Because we have the bicycle there kind of underneath the seahorse, okay? So it could be as simple as just exercising. It could also represent travel or modes of transportation, this kind of thing. But since we're still talking about health, body and mental health, it could just be as simple as exercising, or it could show that there's a lot of movement, right? A lot of times, like we imagine the bicycle, the wheels are going fast. So it could just be like there's a lot of movement and changes and things happening here, okay? All right, so what else do we have here that we didn't talk about yet? With this buckeye here, this nut that represents abundance that was also kind of underneath the skeleton hand, your spiritual team wanting this for you or for someone else for the energy, Scorpio. It's also touching Pisces, the twin fish here, and then if we go this way, some other stuff as well. So, same thing when I talk about the different zodiac signs that I have pieces for that I talk about that show up in certain readings, right? This could be something about a Pisces during Pisces season where you have Pisces in your chart. Or it's none of those things, or in addition to those things, it could be as simple as your spiritual team, okay, wants you to go with the flow here, going with the tide, not against the tide. Don't make things harder for yourself or for someone else or the general energy for the overall health. Because they're saying to follow your North Star here and what like may make more sense for you in terms of your health. This is really interesting. On the other side, right, we have the freedom handcuffs here, Scorpio, and inside is the lock. Okay. So it's kind of like ironic. I don't know. It just doesn't usually fall like that. And way over here is the key by itself. So we didn't talk about that yet since it's not touching the other things. But if we talk about the lock, it can represent stagnant energy or slow down energy or a blockage. There could be some blockage in someone's health, okay, that may be like making them feel less free or light, right? And someone could be thinking a lot about this as well, because then it does touch our first human tooth bone showing up here. We have the mountain charm on the outside and then the book. So the mountain charm represents challenges, and then we have some type of knowledge or research or information with the book, okay? So if we put this all together and we're still talking about somebody's health or health energy, it could be that there's like, you know, maybe too much information, or it's stagnant, or it's not, someone's not understanding something here, or you're waiting for more information. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can interpret it. Since this is a general reading meant for multiple people, that part you have to make sense of it yourself, right? But what I do like is that the key is not far off, so I would just focus on that as well, okay? But let's pull back out again, because I think that's everything for health. Yes, it looks, well, yeah, because these things over here are not touching, so we're not talking about that yet. Okay, so yeah, that's everything for body and mental health. So now I kind of want to look at what we have for relationships and love, okay? And then we'll see where next Spirit wants us to go, all right? But I would say this was like your least active section. Doesn't mean things aren't still happening, right? Just could be, again, the Spirit wants you to focus more on these other areas, okay? But what I can see is that there's only really like two pieces all the way out here that just moved, of course, that are still technically like on the line, okay? See that dotted line? If we pretend that it goes further out, right, it would go like that, something like that. Okay, so all the way out here in the past, and when we're talking about relationships in this section, it could be romantic relationships, work partnerships, friends, family, self-love, whatever, all of the above, whatever, okay? But what I see all the way out here, Scorpio, is we have the snake vertebrae bone piece, backbone piece here, a part of it, okay? And then we also have a piece of the whale vertebrae backbone. So two backbones or vertebrae pieces, okay? So, and this is past energy. So it could be that in the past, the support system, okay, whatever your support system is, Scorpio, or someone else's, or the energy, it could have been changing and evolving, right, since snakes shed their skin, okay? It could be that there was also a lot of emotions with those changes because of the whale and taking up space. Maybe the emotions were just taking up a lot of space or something here. But I don't see it as a bad thing. I see these things as a catalyst to see what's going on here in the future, current, present energies. Okay. And as we said, like earlier too, that with that dog ankle bone in the center, okay, that connects all the different categories of your reading, let's say, or sections, is all about flexibility this month or whenever you see this reading. So also having like flexibility here with the relationships, okay? Maybe it's like one type of relationship or all types of relationships, but we see that the relationships are heavy on someone's mind here with that second skull showing up. And then whatever usually falls on the center heart on that's on the mat for me can represent the heart chakra or the energy field around the heart. So we have only two things here. So we've got the fork, and then we have one of the raccoon claws here, Scorpio. So this could be, as an example, like, are the relationships that we're in, again, whether they're romantic, work related, friends, family, self love, how are they how are they nourishing? Like, what are those relationships? What are we digesting in terms of those relationships? So there's a real need to dig deep here, Scorpio. And you know, again, depending on where you have Scorpio in your chart, it's like that's something you normally do very well, right? Being a water sign and being a Scorpio in particular, this, makes sense. Okay. But it's always good to kind of check in and ask ourselves or someone else those questions. And then I love when I see like Cupid showing up in the relationship section, because that's also my symbol for all types of love. Okay. But Cupid is pointing to that second raccoon penis bone that we have, and then is then connecting to some other things, right? So again, this would be, let's say, higher vibrational masculine energy. Okay. So being proactive, assertive, or aggressive with some type of emotions here. Okay. Because it's leaning on top of the cup. Okay. And then, of course, we have the lucky rabbit's foot. And then that leads into the yes coin. Okay. That's so beautiful, Scorpio. Okay. And then Pegasus was like touching that as well. So, and we have something else. I believe this is, yeah, the peace doves over here kind of hiding underneath. So the way that I would say this, Scorpio, is that, remember how I said in the past, and I don't always say this with that piece, but it just was speaking to me with the whale vertebrae backbone piece, like emotions in the past taking up a lot of space, like a big whale, and there are emotions about the support system changing or evolving. So if that was in the past, and then we're over here in the future current possibilities, probabilities section, right? That this could be like, again, being proactive, assertive, aggressive with these emotions, because it leads to not only good luck but a peaceful energy. Okay. And then also leads to some type of yes and a sense of freedom here with Pegasus, the winged horse. So this could be a yes that you were giving or you were receiving. Okay. But I really, really like that for you. Okay. All right. So that is pretty much it for the relationship section. But now let's go ahead and move into one of your busiest sections, right? But again, things cross over and can kind of go both ways. But I want to move into now the spiritual unconscious section, and then we'll end with work and money, okay? Because we do have quite a few things going on in the past all the way out here as well, okay? So on the sides here, going up and around, okay? And all the things that cross the line too. So when we're talking about the spiritual unconscious, also known as our intuition, what we feel is like our first reactions to things, our gut reactions. That's kind of what this section is about. So if we look back here in the past, okay, there could have been like a lot of cleansing, okay, here with the leaf, clearing and cleansing something away, okay, in a spiritual sense, right? Someone could have been chewing over and digesting this with this other human tooth bone here, okay? It just fell over, but that's all right. And there was a need to maybe go slow with this there with the turtle, because there was also over here on the other side with the wish sorry with the wish charm and the bat, like something about subtle vibrations. Okay, so going slow with clearing something in the subtle vibrations spiritually. Maybe there was a big wish for that. There could have also been something going on here with astral travel, traveling in our dreams, even, or something to do with being by water here with the ship charm. And going over the details of these dreams, or traveling in the 5D or lucid dreams, however you want to call it or say it, right? Or just going over the details about being by water, since water is a conduit. It is a very spiritual thing, okay? But again, this is past energy, okay? And before we get into this part and going back to that skull, I want to see, what else is in the past here. So on the other side, all right, first is we have half of the lizard here, okay, and then we got half of the envelope charm, and then we have another human tooth bone. So here, Scorpio, there's a lot of healing energy around some type of communication, whether you give this or receive this, okay, spiritually, or someone else does, or the energy does. There was a lot of time and effort thinking about that message or that communication. Now I also see, if we go down this way with the witch charm, all my W's, right? I'm like wish, witch, whatever. With the witch charm, she's my symbol for our friends, a group of friends, or one friend, or just a friendly type of energy was maybe helping you with this in the past, spiritually or unconsciously, intuitively, Scorpio, or someone else with the energy. And maybe those friends or that friendly type of energy was also helping you listen for spiritual downloads, listen to spiritual advice from your own intuition or someone else's. Here with the listening seashell, this also represents feminine energy, and then it's leading into we have the 4-leaf clover, and then the ship anchor, and then it's not touching but very close to that other raccoon claw, right? Because I could have moved it slightly, but we'll just include it anyway. So in the past, okay, and then leading into the future, current, present energies here, Scorpio, it'd be like listening for where is the good luck around a sense of freedom and safety, and how to manifest that spiritually, unconsciously, intuitively. So again, this may have started in the past, and then it's kind of still going on, all right? Now, I want to go back up to where we had the first skull before. We talked about it in terms of health, and now we're talking about it with the intuition and the spirituality. So we see that skull there, okay? So the spiritual concept being heavy on someone's mind. There also is another symbol here with the bicycle, could be referencing astral travel, right? Or even 3D physical travel. And this could have something to do with family, with siblings, with parents, with the seahorse there, or whoever you consider your family or your tribe. But there's a really nice, like, proactive, assertive energy with this coyote penis bone over here as well on top of the crown. Excuse me. And also the horseshoe and the ladybug inside. So this could be about working with someone that has more knowledge than you, Scorpio, or even just more confidence, or it could be, and or in addition to that, your own leadership qualities with the spirituality, the unconscious, and the intuition. But there's all this beautiful good luck around it. And this could also be about something to do with either a Sagittarius or a Leo, or during Sagittarius season or Leo season even. But it doesn't necessarily have to be about the zodiac signs. It could just be as simple as, where do we pull back that arrow and hit the target with our spirituality, with our intuition? Where is the passion and the creativity with that, because remember this was like more pointing towards Leo the lion, so it was like leaning on top like that, right? So that could even be saying that is the target, is having that passion and that creativity for the intuition or the spirituality. This could also here, Scorpio, have something to do with setting up boundaries, okay? And using a feminine energy to set up those boundaries, okay? Because we have that feminine charm underneath the baby and also touching the bobcat tooth. So this could have something to do with like a childlike energy here, because we're in the spiritual unconscious. Of course, it could also be 3D physical children, your children or someone else's, but because we're in the spiritual unconscious section, we could just say it's a childlike energy, okay? And that could be helping with setting up those boundaries. And it could even be boundaries with spirit, right? Or spirituality as well. Okay, so if someone's doing a lot of astral travel or traveling in their dreams or lucid dreaming, then, you know, it's important to also set boundaries with spirit too, okay? But I see that this could also have something to do with the Capricorn or just putting in effort like the Capricorn goat, okay? So if there's any doubt or questions with the question mark, that can go away when we just stay in that proactive masculine higher vibrational energy with the masculine charm here. This could also, Scorpio, lead to a lot of happiness here with the sun charm and doing either something non-traditional in terms of our spirituality or intuition with the hummingbird here, or it could just be, you know, doing things that we are naturally good at, and that would be our intuition. And not everybody's going to understand our intuition, and it's never going to necessarily make sense to other people as it does to us, okay? With the hummingbird there, since the hummingbirds fly backwards, not like other birds, but they get the sweetest nectar and they're like the fastest bird, okay? So your spiritual team is showing up here twice, very close together and in the spiritual unconscious section, right? So you got the coffin here, you got the skeleton hand here. So it's like working with your spiritual team, your ancestors, past on loved ones, friends, family, all the things, okay, your guides. It's going to be really important here, okay, because they also perhaps want you to embrace this feminine energy here, Scorpio. On one side, I mean, you have lots of masculine energy and feminine energy throughout, but here there's something about cutting away, remember that irresponsibility. So if we're talking about not being responsible to our intuition or not being responsible to our sense of spirituality, somebody or some energy or something needs to cut that away. And when you do that, or someone else does, or the energy shifts, Scorpio, then we can have all this beautiful abundance coming in with the buckeye here, okay? Now, before we continue on, there's a few things over here we haven't talked about at all yet because they weren't touching anything else in the reading, right? So here we have the mermaid showing up. I know it's hard to see on that design there, and she's upside down, but there she is, okay? And then we also have another piece of the fish vertebrae bone showing up here, the backbone, which is then touching the safety pin, and the dragonfly is flying through the safety pin. And then we have the cat's eye showing up here too, Scorpio. So this could be like about longing for something. It could even go back to past lives, but it doesn't have to be. Longing for some type of support with something that we don't have all the information for, okay? And I just feel like in this instance, Scorpio, this cat's eye, if you're familiar with tarot, is also like the moon card, right? Be Pisces energy, which we also have over there with the twin fish, okay? But for you, Scorpio, this is like your intuition, right? So sometimes our intuition or our spirituality or unconscious, it doesn't, it may have all the information, but we don't get all of it to our conscious side. Okay, does that make sense? So here it could just be as simple as longing for more support with our intuition, with our spirituality, our unconscious. And there's a safety in having those dreams. Okay, there's safety in like trusting the intuition. Okay, again, maybe not knowing like exactly where this information is coming from, but trusting in it is going to be a big thing. Hermes, you're not doing something you're not supposed to, are you? Hermes. All right, sorry guys. Anyway, I don't know what he's doing, but if we continue on this way, Scorpio, now we have the second honeybee here. We've got the elephant, and then we have the chair. So here, this could be about like individuality, okay, and community, right? So, what is the community sense with our spirituality? So, spirituality isn't about like religion, right? It's different. You can be religious and spiritual separate or together, right? It doesn't always go hand in hand. But what's the community effort in the spirituality, or the intuition or the unconscious, right? Like who do we turn to or go to help us with these things? And then there's also the individual sense with the honeybee, because the honeybees work together as a team to make the honey, right? So there's definitely, that showing up there as well. Remember, you had the first honeybee here in body and mental health, and then you have the second one here. And if you think about it, it's like mind, body, spirit, right? Spirit, unconscious. It's all like here. Um, so there could also be something here, Scorpio, about like working with um, our memories of home. Okay, like where do we feel spiritually at home in that chair and the elephant? Where do we feel unconsciously, intuitively at home? It could also be like real physical, real memories of our physical home where we live in the 3D physical world, our house, apartment, etc. Okay. But I like that, like on the other side of that, if we go back this way, is the key is here. And maybe the key is as simple here, Scorpio, as cutting away again that irresponsibility energy. And remember what I said with Pisces, the twin fish, is going with the flow, going with the tide, not against it, and following your North Star. There's going to be a lot of emotions with that, okay? And again, remember, if we feel like there's a block or a lock, right, to our spiritual freedom, or feeling more light and free with our intuition, because maybe there's a lot of challenges and there's a lot of information or research out there, it's just like keep following your North Star. And when we cut away and we become more spiritually responsible in some sense here, Scorpio, you or someone else, or just the energy in general, and we trust our intuition more, then that's like when we're definitely have that key to open up the lock and get that blockage, get that blockage out of there. It could be more than one, I guess. All right. Now, the few last things in this section that we didn't talk about yet is here we have the spider in the spider web, okay? And it's also touching the apple, and then that's touching the corn charm. Over here, we got the butterfly, we have the lightning bolt, okay? And then very close to, but not touching, is the puzzle piece, right? So, Scorpio, because this spider and spider web was very close to like the white part of the mat out here, it could be a little bit of this started in the past and still kind of going on. What is the spiritual environment, the intuitive environment, right? So if an insect flies into a spider web, it ripples, right? So the environment, okay, it could have something here again to do with a teacher, a mentor, a guide, a guru, your own leadership qualities here. They can help you or someone else, or in addition to you, can help others plant something of substance, like spiritual, intuitive substance, right? So something that can last a long time, or is very on a deeper level. This is going to bring in new ideas, okay? And that is so beautiful, because if we look at the butterfly by itself, because it's not really touching anything here, um, is this is all about, there's a big transformation happening here, Scorpio, in the intuitive section, in the unconscious spiritual section, right? And so that definitely makes sense with this being like your busiest section as well, okay? So very, very cool. So I think that covers, excuse me, that section. But just remember the flexibility, dog ankle bone that went through this center circle, affects all the different areas. So just be flexible in that area as well, okay? Or the energy, if it's not a person or you or someone else, okay? All right. So now let's come back to your last section here, Scorpio, your work and money, okay? And let's look at the few things that are on the outside in the past energy, and then work our way inwards, okay? That little bone just keeps wanting to slide, but that's fine. It can just stay like that. It's like, talk about me. Okay, yes, we will. So in the past here, Scorpio, in terms of someone's work or money or finances or their sense of values, there could have been like the support system with the money, the work, the finances, our sense of value could have really been changing. So whether that was with, coworkers, boss, our regular support system, romantic partner, friends, family, etc. It could have been changing and evolving in the past, okay? And even though that was maybe happening, there was a peaceful energy as well with the peace doves. And then also there was good luck, like blessing whatever those changes were, and then leading to some type of a yes and a sense of freedom here with Pegasus, the winged horse, then touching the yes coin. And again, this is like whether you receive a yes or give a yes, it's still a yes. I also call this like a green light, like in traffic, right? If you get the green light, then you can go, okay? And so don't forget here too, Scorpio, that there's something here about being proactive with the emotions, with the work or at work, with the money, the finances, our sense of value here, with that other raccoon penis bone on top of the cup, okay? Which was also touching all these other things, right? Now, if we go back up this way, oh, there's something under there. I wanted to check, and there it is. Okay, so here, just so we can look at it like that first, is in the past, we also had here, Scorpio, that little fish charm. We have the ankle, sorry, I was about to say ankle. We have the angel. I was like a different A word. We have the angel coin, which was sitting on top of the seashell charm, okay? So, and again, if we follow this dotted line and pretend like it goes outwards, all these things are still in this section in the past. So it's like your spiritual team, okay, or someone's spiritual team, or just in general here, Scorpio, was showing up in the past. In terms of someone's work or money or finances, maybe they were helping you or someone else like be more successful and have prosperity here with the fish. This could have gone back a long time, or it was a long time coming here with the seashell charm as well, okay? So I really see those things as like a catalyst, okay, for maybe why we have all this beautiful good luck, and we have this yes coin, and we have the peaceful energy, okay? Because the other way that we can look at this, Scorpio, too, is that we have the listening bells over here. So this could be listening for opportunities at work, with the money, the finances, or a sense of being valued, okay? Or listening to somebody at work, or coworkers, or boss, or again, it will be different for everybody, okay? But what I really like here too, and what we haven't talked about at all really in the reading yet, is these couple of things here, and then the yin and yang symbol. So Saturn is coming in here, and we do know we have Saturn going retrograde for everybody in the middle of July, right? So check out the astrology notes or look it up yourself if you're more interested, because I don't want to talk about that now. But basically, Saturn, excuse me, comes in here and is helping us clear away something that's no longer useful or no longer resonates, clear or cut something away. Um, with the feather here, okay, cleansing something with the work, the money, the finances. Saturn is also showing up here to get someone or some energy more serious, to take some type of leap of faith, okay? So if you look at it, you got the feather here, and then you have the broom on top of the frog. It's crazy, you guys. I haven't seen it like that in a long time. So it's two clearing and cleansing agents. Like Saturn is saying, you know, make this leap of faith, whether it's you or someone else or the energy. You have the yes coin, you have the green lucky rabbit's foot, right? It's like either make a leap of faith or don't. You could look at it as either way, but I can't really look at it like don't, because you have the yes, you have the green light, and you have the green lucky rabbit's foot. Okay, there could be, again, it's not a personal reading, it's a general reading. So what I would say is that there is something about balance here being really important with the yin and yang symbol, okay? And that could be something about like balancing some new ideas that we have coming in here for you as well. Because remember, these things were all touching each other, and they're right on the line, okay? So they also apply to work and money as well. So here, Scorpio, this could be as simple as like, there's some kind of teacher, mentor, guide, or your own leadership qualities that are showing up in the work environment with the spider and the spider web and the apple. And these new ideas could be about planting something of substance that you can continue to eat the corn for a long time, right? So whether that's like have the job for a long time, work stability, financial stability, something here, right? That's a big piece of the puzzle. Everybody wants stability with these things, right? But it's like new ideas of maybe of what that could mean, okay? So the other thing I would say here too is that all these things, remember, they go back to this whole thing, okay? They also apply to work and money as well. So if there have been or still are some challenges with some type of information or research or knowledge with the work or money or finances, that you or someone else or energy is chewing over and digesting here with that human tooth bone, that like the freedom aspect or a sense of being light and free, it feels like it's never going to happen, or it feels like there's a big blockage there or multiple blockages there with the lock, inside of those freedom handcuffs. But if we go back over, there's abundance on the other side with the buckeye. Remember, if we lift this up, there's your spiritual team again with the skeleton hand and the coffin here, Scorpio. But now in terms of work or money or finances or sense of being valued, they could be like, you need to use your water element, Scorpio, okay? The water charm here. Work with Pisces. Work with what Pisces represents, okay? The creativity, the sensitivity, the going with the flow, going with the tide and not against the tide. That's going to help you or someone else or the energy like follow your North Star in terms of your career or how you make money, or how you feel valued, right? So yeah. If we also go this way, Scorpio, remember how we were talking about with the hummingbird, like doing something either non-traditional in terms of work or money, or just doing things that you're naturally good at, like your spiritual team wants you to do more of that because that's going to make you more happy, or someone else or the energy. And this could also help with, here I would say if there's a question around like maybe too much masculine energy, like is it too much being proactive, assertive, aggressive in some sense, okay, when it comes to the work or money or finances, um, or it could be that it's like with a person that displays a lot of masculine energy, or they identify as masculine, right? Whatever, however you want to interpret that. But with that Capricorn goat energy too, it's like putting in the effort, not giving up, continuing to go up the mountain, okay? But also setting boundaries, clear boundaries, or receiving boundaries and respecting those boundaries if it's coming from someone else. Because that also is going to help the passion and creativity, the fiery energy come back or get even bigger, okay, with the work, the money, the finances, um, and bring in more good luck too. Remember, we had that horseshoe and ladybug underneath, okay? And if there's like a wish to travel with the family or something here with family, again, Scorpio with the seahorse, whether it's your tribe, your group of people, or your parents, your relatives, siblings, etc. It could be like, well, can they travel? Can we travel and then still do all the stuff at work with the money, the finances, okay? Or it could be like, we need a new vehicle, transportation, we need a new car, a new bike, whatever it is, right? This is like going back to here to Scorpio, something to do with someone that either has more knowledge than you here with the crown, or your own leadership qualities, or just something about confidence. It's like going back to the baby, right? If you have children in the 3D physical world, or it's someone else's children that you're very close to, they almost are like the way to set these boundaries, and maybe there's a playful way to do that, okay? Or they're saying that there's power in this playful childlike energy, okay? If we also go back to this part of the reading, Scorpio, before we finish, because I know we're almost at that time, with the irresponsibility coin showing up here along with the scissors again, I feel that I didn't look at it like this before, but now I kind of see it, right? With that skeleton hand, not only does your spiritual team maybe want to help cut something away here in terms of being irresponsible with the work, the money, the finances, it could also be like, if you put your hand on something, Scorpio, right, or someone else does, you're taking responsibility. It's almost like I feel like Spirit wants you to take that responsibility back. Or if it's not you, Scorpio, someone else, or the energy. I don't know. I don't usually do that, but they told me to put the hand on there, and they're like, we're taking it back. And I'm like, okay. So take that how you're supposed to, I guess. But overall, the last thing I'll say too is that we need flexibility as well, okay, with that dog ankle bone throughout all these different areas, but also in the work and money, okay? But really beautiful reading, Scorpio. I hope some of that, makes sense or will later. But yeah, that's pretty much everything there. So I am going to put the camera down for a little bit, okay? And just clear out some of the bones and charms before. I'm trying to decide if we should take a little break and then come back to Sagittarius. I like to usually do 2 signs like per video, but it doesn't always happen that way. So actually, yeah, let me do this. Hold on, guys. Let me put this back up here for a moment. Stay. Okay. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do is take a short break and then come back with Sagittarius. And I just need to check on my dogs for a moment and stuff, because I don't know what they're up to in the other room. I think he turned the TV on. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but somehow my dog turned the TV on. So he might be like, I need to go outside now. or he wants to watch that channel. I'm not sure. But thank you guys. As always, I'll change the title here and I'll just keep Scorpio in it. And I will take a picture too right now before I forget. And I will upload it later to the Facebook in case you want to look at the bones and charms again up close. Okay. But yes, enjoy this time period, Scorpio, and everybody else too, regardless of where you have Scorpio in your chart. And what else? If you feel guided and you want to follow or subscribe or like or share, all those things are free and great ways to help support my channel. Since I do these readings for free, if you feel guided, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok eventually. All right, so you guys take care, and I'll be back in a little bit with